I'm Gabriel Richi.
I'm Jeremiah McConan.
Welcome to another episode of the Richi and Meko Connection. Jay, let's get right into it. No plugs,
Yeah.
no nothing. I was thinking about something earlier because I had
Mhm.
a little time on my hands, and I was watching old highlights. So I started with I rewatched the game-winning touchdown from yesterday. Because rarely do you get something as cool and final as that in football,
Brady's right
like a
for the
walk-off touchdown. It's
yeah.
rare. It's rare. Um, Pretty big crowd reaction, despite the fact that it was half Bills fans. It sounded like at times at Ralph Raymond James Stadium.
Yeah.
But that put me on a like a rabbit hole sort of, and I ended up at the Malcolm Butler interception. And I thought about how I felt at that moment and during that game and how important it was to me and how it really felt like the end of the world if the Patriots did win that game. Like I think I was done with
Facts.
sports and everything. And similar to the Atlanta Super Bowl is very similar, but the Malcolm Butler, just like the lowest of lows to the highest of highs. Like that really is probably one of the happiest moments of my life. I don't feel like I don't know about you. I just don't consume sports that way anymore. Where maybe it's all of the winning, maybe it's because we have a podcast now, maybe it's whatever, we're older. I'm sure it's a lot of that stuff mixed into one. But I'm thinking about how devastated I was anytime the Pats lost in the playoffs, even the Celtics. Um, Flash forward to now where it's like I was really excited. Everybody knows like we were really fucking lit when the Bucks won the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah.
That the feeling doesn't compare to Seattle or Atlanta or other moments in my sports viewing life. And the same goes for anything with basketball, really, where I've said this on the pod, the way you feel about KD, I just don't feel that way. I love watching, and we're going to get into him in a second, Steph Curry. Steph Curry, when he's hot, is probably one of my favorite things to watch in all of sports. I love watching him. There's a lot of players I admire. I love Tom Brady, but besides that, there's no athlete where like my mood revolves around how they do. Where I can't look at it subjectively and just like be completely biased anymore. How do you feel about sports and the way you consume it? Do you feel the way you consume sports is the same as it was not that long ago? 5 years ago, that's not that long ago. When we're talking Atlanta Super Bowl, Seattle Super Bowl, and everything in between. The loss to Denver, they had to get to 2-point conversion. That game, how bad the loss to Philly felt. Probably right then and there, you get to the Rams Super Bowl that the Patriots win. Just didn't feel the same at that point, and never has since. How do you feel?
Oh, that's interesting, man. I think I would have to agree with you as far as that emotional roller coaster that those probably I would say 2007 to 2000, like you said, till that Malcolm Butler interception, like those playoff games, man, is unlike anything. Even to this day, when I watch KD, and there was moments last year in that Brooklyn series where it was kind of close to those late playoff runs for the Pats, that third dynasty they had, but still not the same.
Of course, it's not going to be the same as that, but just in general, like go back to like a distant basketball memory of, do you feel the same way about KD? And he played one of the greatest basketball games I've ever seen. Was it Game 5 last year in the second round?
Mm-hmm.
It was probably
Game 5,
probably the best game I've ever seen him play. But did you feel, even though it was so amazing to watch, did you feel the same as you did watching him in OKC in 2012, 2013, those years?
It's a good point, because when I'm thinking about that now, you're right. There was some.
It's a different feeling, right?
I'll say the series, and I seen a tweet the other day, and it was referencing to those old grit and grind Grizzlies. Those series between the Thunder and the Grizzlies, with young KD and fucking Reggie Jackson costing us games. Those emotions, man, you're right, and that was where I probably only knew KD for like 3 years as far as a fan. Those emotions were way higher than it was last year. It's crazy. So it's interesting that you bring that up, man, for real.
Yeah, and It's like I don't. And we've talked about this before. Like football wise, it could have to do with Brady and the Pats not being together anymore. So
Yeah,
it's
for
kind of
football for
like
sure.
how great you feel about it has been split in half.
Right.
Where I just don't. The I get. I'll admit I get a little more excited for Bucks games than Patriots games. One, they're usually
Same.
far more entertaining. It's a laser show. Two, we have those guys on their fantasy players. Three, my heart's with Brady. However, even for these Bucks games, even for an
Yeah.
exciting game like yesterday with the Bills, I'm not as excited as I would be for even Patriots Browns matchup in week 5 of 2013 or whatever.
Yeah, I'll be honest. With that
Weird.
Bucks game, bro, I wasn't even watching some of the third quarter of that Bucks game. And then I looked up and I was like, oh shit, it's a close game again. Like I'm just not as engaged anymore,
Yeah,
which
I
kind of
mean,
sad, I guess.
right. I think I'm just as engaged. My emotions just aren't as engaged. Like emotionally, I don't know if as engaged. That might have something to do with this, where we have to take a step back and just look at things unbiasedly sometimes. Or, it could just be growing up. I'm just not sure.
Yeah,
And I feel like I've seen this in a
it's
lot of
probably
people.
that,
I've
honestly.
seen this in a lot of people. Like I don't see the same fandom. It could just be the way sports are going with the player empowerment movement. You're never really rooting for the same
Yeah,
guys on the same teams, shit like that. I
it's
think
the
that
way we
all
consume
plays
it
a
now.
factor in it.
It's
Yeah.
different.
Um, it's just a feeling I kind of miss, but it's a feeling I don't miss when it comes to like so and so losing. Because that would absolutely just ruin a week for you or a month
Right.
or just
Man, Pats losing in the Super Bowl would ruin like several months for me. Like
right.
that second Giants loss or some of those Broncos losses that you
And just
mentioned
scars you
before.
for life, basically. Like
Yeah, bro.
if I see like a split second in a commercial of like anything Giants Patriots related, like I immediately have to. I can't even
Go to
look.
a dark place.
Yeah, I have to change the channel. Uh,
I'm with you on that.
just like the Malcolm Butler interception or 28-3 memes and shit. That brings me to a very happy place. But I'm not sure. Maybe nothing that great has happened since, and that's
Because
why. But I'm not
I was
sure
gonna
if
say,
I'll
because
ever
that was a
get there again.
crazy moment.
Right. I'm not sure if we'll ever get there again. And it was really. I'm really happy to have been there, but it's also kind of sad. It's like,
Facts.
was that the peak of our fandom? And Rosillo talks about it too. Rosillo talk about how he used to be like such a fan, and eventually like he consumes it in a much different way than like Simmons, where he's from Boston and shit, but
Right.
and he'll sort of root for him because of whatever, but he's not that into it. I feel that way. I used to get fucking, and we're not baseball guys, we're not hockey guys, but I used to get super excited for the Red Sox. I used to get super excited 2011 when the Bruins won
Same.
the Stanley Cup. I remember being really upset in 2013, staying up for a 2 overtime loss to the Blackhawks. It was 2 or 3 overtimes on like a school night in
I think I
2013 when
remember
they were in
that
the
too.
yeah, they were in the Stanley Cup final.
One of the only hockey games I've ever watched, like the
Right.
5 hockey games ever.
Where flash forward to them losing, getting blown out in game 7 on their home ice, I believe, in a couple of years ago in the Stanley Cup final to the Blues. I gave a fuck. I couldn't give a fuck. I would have been and I would have been happy if they won, but I would not have been the same. It wouldn't have been the same as when they won in 2011. It wouldn't have been the same when the Red Sox won 2007, 2004. Of course, 04 is a different case altogether, but
Right.
yeah, it's across the board. And I'll be in a stadium and shit and just like I don't feel as a part of it as I used to. I guess this is kind of like a sports fan therapy session. Like I'll be in
No,
Gillette or I'll be in the
it's a good
Garden and
point
I'll be
though.
like, look at these Celtics fans, look at these Patriots fans. It's like I am one of those. I am that, but for some reason, I I feel like we analyze too much.
I
I
think
don't know
it's
what
the
it is.
way. Yeah, man. I think it's a combination of a lot of things. Like you said, it's definitely us growing up. We're just not going to be as invested emotionally because there's 10 other things we're more invested in now, just us being older. But I think it's the way the game is kind of served to us now as consumers, where it's just player, player, player. And 10 years ago, it was like team, team, team. And that's probably a factor as well. But it also might be an individual thing too,
Yeah,
because like you said, Simmons to this day is diehard Celtics, diehard Pats,
right.
diehard Red Sox, even though he took
Yeah.
that little fake break last year.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I think it's just a combination of all those things. But it's definitely interesting though that you bring it up because it's a real thing that I've also
Yeah.
experienced myself. So
Yeah. I don't know, man. It was just something I was thinking about. I was like, is this strictly nostalgia? Was it really that great? Some of the stuff. And of course, Malcolm Butler and the 28-3 comeback, those are outliers. I'm just sort of talking about basic sports
nostalgia,
moments.
yeah.
Yeah, like getting really excited for a game like this. I
You know
still
what?
do. Obviously, we have a podcast. We talk about this shit every week now, multiple times a week with the hoop chat.
Right.
Uh, in terms of basketball, it's really our favorite thing to do is talk about sports. Uh, I just hope we're not heading in a certain direction, you know?
The nostalgia, man. What's the quote that Dwight Schrute has? The two most dangerous things in the world is breaking a human's neck and nostalgia.
Jesus.
It's like, yeah, you're kind
Okay,
of
I guess
right.
that's true. Yeah, I guess that's true. But
Shall
yeah,
we
we can
transition though?
we can transition on a lighter note, and just to like counter all of that is like something that's been exciting for us
Yeah.
is the Curry 3-point watch. It's currently halftime. Maybe by the time this comes out, he'll be the 3-point champ. It's looking doubtful right now. He still has 6 to go with just a half a basketball left.
With him though, he
It's
could just
halftime
get
with
that in a
Indiana.
quarter.
They're kind of struggling with Indiana right now. I feel like Jay,
Yeah.
and this has been exciting. It's great. Like I feel like all these games will be on national television in some sense. Like this game versus Indiana, a Monday night game, but it's on at least on NBA TV.
Right. Yeah. No, they're doing that intentional. They want
Right.
people
The
to
league's
catch
making
it.
sure everybody will see whenever it does happen that
Yeah.
Steph Curry, when he breaks the record, that
Tomorrow, TNT versus the Knicks. Yeah, the
right.
league is preparing
And I'm
for it.
sure the Friday game versus the Celtics will be on ESPN.
Right.
But they haven't been playing as well. And I feel like this record is kind of
Yeah.
this is a team, and this is individual record is kind of hovering over the Warriors at this point and kind of messing up their. It's definitely discombobulating Steph. He hasn't played well. He's kind of just antsy about the record. I think once they do get the record, that things will change. But at this point in time, they are not playing the best basketball in the league. It's now the Suns. It was the Warriors and Suns. I was giving the slight edge to the Warriors. Right now, the Suns are playing the best basketball in the league. However, I think a lot of this has to do with like them chasing the 3-point record. Just wants it to be behind them at this
Yeah.
point. But it's like, I hope this doesn't fuck up their momentum in the long run.
You made a good point. You made a really good point because this is a team. Like the way the Warriors play, it's all team-based offense, team-based defense. Everything is strength in numbers, whatever they're saying is.
Yeah.
And it's just turning into, it definitely has turned into an individual thing, which is great, of course. I mean, Steph has a chance to have like the most made 3-pointers of all time, passing Ray
Yeah.
Allen. It's an awesome feat. But you definitely can tell that it's starting to mess with him a little bit. That game we called on Colorcast, the Trailblazers game. He went 3 for 16. In that first quarter, it was just him throwing up threes, not really trying to
Right.
play within the game. So yeah, it's definitely in his head a little bit. And as a result, if your main guy's all kind of in his own head about something, that's going to reflect on the whole team. Because of course we know that that team and that system starts and ends with him.
Right.
So yeah, and I definitely agree with you that this is now kind of maybe drop them a little bit in the power ranking. I mean, whatever, power
Yeah, it's
rankings.
early still.
Yeah, it's like we all know who's gonna, as of now at least, we know which teams are gonna be there late. But
Right. My point is just like,
Phoenix is definitely more polished right now because
yeah,
this is distracted the Warriors. I'm
a
with you
month
on that.
ago, they would just handle business. Like they would never have lost to
Right.
Philly on Saturday night. They would never lose to San Antonio, and they wouldn't be tied at the half versus an Indiana squad that like none of those guys could be there
That like
tomorrow
wants
night.
to blow it up, right?
Right, exactly. So it's kind of weird, and you can say, "Oh, since he's so close to the record, these teams are playing closer defense on him." It's like, yeah, then go buy them because that's what you would normally do. He's already the greatest shooter of all time. People already press him all the time, and face guard him around the perimeter. So like, why wouldn't he just go by them at that point? It's just something to think about, and I hope that they bounce back, and I hope that he bounced back.
I think they will. Once he gets the record, once this whole thing is passed, like you said, I think they'll get back to their regularly scheduled program. And the Clay return it's coming, man.
It's going to be really
hopefully
exciting.
The next 2 weeks. I hope it's not going to be one of those things where it's maybe
Starting
now
with
we're
5
thinking
minutes.
after New Year's, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay. You know what I mean? Hope it's not a Zion type thing.
I was just gonna say, speaking of that,
Thanks.
do you want to do like quick? I have this written down.
Quick little
like,
2 minutes on Zion.
What's up with that?
This is just, if you're a Pelicans fan, this is alarming, bro. It went from he's on the right track to he had a setback to he's gonna be back to now he's had a further setback where the bone's not healing right. And this kid is 21 years old. This isn't some 33-year-old vet who has all these miles on his body. He's 21, and I don't know.
Is this year number 3 for him?
Yeah, this is year 3, which is it's crazy because it's year 3 and he still hasn't played 82 games.
I was gonna say at this point, I saw a stat. At this point, he's missed more games than played.
It's ridiculous.
He's like missed 85 games, and I'm not sure if he hasn't played 82.
No, man, this Zion situation is really concerning. If you're just a fan of rooting for him, which we were last year, he was so fun to watch.
He's one of my favorite players to watch.
He's fantastic. Yeah. But definitely if you're a Pelicans fan, I mean, I can't even imagine what they're going through down there. It's not a good sign. It's not a good sign.
Is it all bullshit? And I'm not saying the injury is bullshit, but like the weight gain, is it the Charles Barkley trying to get himself out of Philly or whatever? How he ate a bunch of donuts every day just to like.
You think he's trying to eat his way out?
Does he want to not be desirable to the Pelicans franchise? Because it's really jarring when you see him at this point.
It is.
It's not just at first I was like, all right, guys, everybody's gonna put on pounds at a certain age, but at this point it's like it feels intentional, the weight gain.
Dude, he looks like a lineman sometimes in some
how is this happening? Is it a medical issue that we don't know about with the weight gain? Because
I did see something today where it was like Zion was skipping on his rehab or something.
Yeah.
Or he was, I don't know, missing out on whatever training that he was supposed to do. So if you ask me, I think it's a mental thing with him. I think it's his approach to the game where he's not as hungry as someone you would want from he's not as hungry as, you'd want your franchise guy to be.
He's hungry for something.
He's hungry, right? He's hungry for the wrong things. He's busy shooting Mountain Dew commercials and not getting them 7
which is so ironic.
7x7s in.
The picture
I don't know, man.
On the couch with the video game controller and his 3 chains.
He looks huge in that commercial too.
Yeah.
And he's just chugging down a Mountain Dew next to Zach LaVine.
Yeah.
And
before, and I don't think we've done much Zion talk.
I mean, get the bag Zion, but come on, man.
Yeah, before you guys, if anybody out there, which I doubt, knowing our listeners, with the fat shaming stuff, it's I'm not a fat shamer, all that, but if you're a professional athlete and you're getting paid to basically stay in shape, and that's your job, and you're so rich that you have everybody else to just handle every other thing that would get in the way of staying in shape,
right?
It's on you. And it's I'm not gonna do fat jokes here. We're not gonna sit here and do fat jokes, but it's bro, look at him. Just go look at a picture of Zion now and look at him 3 years ago and tell me this isn't jarring to you.
Yeah, I just wish I'd see him in maybe some water commercials or some vitamins or even a sports drink. But Mountain Dew, Zion, come on, man. It's the worst soda ever. Yeah, it's jarring, Gabe. You're right. To put a bow on that Zion thing, it's just something that I don't even know, because he has to be plummeting his own trade value at this point. If you want to think about it from that standpoint, which I don't know if the Pelicans are ready to go there yet.
Yeah. Well, I think that might be his plan, to get them to go there.
Yeah, but anywhere it's kind of like the Simmons thing. You're gonna hurt your own value by doing this, and but he's so special. He probably could get.
He's so special, and it's not like an attitude thing. That's the thing with this. I'm rooting for him.
I'm disappointed.
I'm rooting for him. Which is why it's a shame to say.
He's so fun, bro.
Steph Curry, 5 3-pointers away from the record. He's about to take another. He's 4 3-pointers away. Man. He might get it tonight. Or was that 2?
He's 4 now.
That might have been a 2 he just saw. He's 5 away. No, he's 4 away. He's 4 away. There was a glitch in the system. 67-65,
I'm
Indiana.
gonna throw that on while we
Brogdon for 3. Here comes Steph again. It's like we're on color cast right now.
I was about to say
Which
we're
we
on a color
which we
cast real
do
quick.
quick plug, which we do plan on doing again, regardless of what happens with that situation. We'll fill you guys in when we get more information.
For sure.
Another special thanks to everybody who popped out the other night. You were huge. We were the number one cast
Yes.
on color cast for the Warriors and Blazers game. If you didn't pop out, please next time hop in. Not for us at this point, but for you, because it was a fucking blast.
Hell yeah.
Shout
That
out
was so
to
fun.
SG Warriors 51.
Right. If you know, you know. We'll say that's enough said
If
on
you know,
that
you
guy.
know.
Do you want to do a little Celtics talk and then I'll tell you how I feel about the Bulls and you want to jump into football afterwards?
Yeah, sure. So the Celtics at this point in time are 13-14. It's halftime right now versus Milwaukee. It's 51-50. Boston's up
Yeah.
1. So maybe we drop this. We talk shit about the Celtics and then
Right.
they beat Milwaukee and you guys call us dumb. However, 3 losses in a row, including one to the Clippers without anybody really. You get destroyed by
No Paul
Randy
George.
Boston, who's like 13 years old.
Right.
Like it's never a good sign when a guy like, and he's a really young, talented player. Don't get me wrong,
He's
but
good.
when a young player so young, so inexperienced has his coming out party against you, that's not good.
It's a red
Especially when
flag.
you were trying to get your win back after getting blown out by the Lakers. You get killed by the Clippers, and then who was the third team on the road trip that
And
beat them?
Phoenix just
In Phoenix,
handled
which
them
like we were
easily.
talking before the game. We were talking before the
Yeah.
game. It was like I would never bet. I rarely bet myself. I would never want to bet on my own team. But there was
Yeah.
no chance in hell the Celtics were beating Phoenix because
Nope.
Phoenix handles business and the Celtics are the opposite of that.
Yeah, they're just complete polar opposites, those two teams.
Also, the Celtics don't have the talent, they don't have the experience, they don't have anything to match up with Phoenix. So it's not like it was one of those wins where it's like Phoenix handles business and they're much better than the Celtics. Where it's like I'm not even gonna get who did the
Right.
Celtics lose to? They lost to somebody in the past couple of weeks. Oh, I think it was Brooklyn and maybe somebody else. Where it's like I'm not even mad. That's just a better basketball team than the Celtics. There's nothing wrong with the Celtics. Just look at that roster versus that roster. Look at this coach versus that coach. We're in straight up basketball purgatory, Jay. It's
Yeah. I
13
was
and
gonna say,
14. They wouldn't
man,
be in the playoffs if they started today.
crazy. Isn't
The
that
East
crazy?
the East isn't a joke anymore. You can't just sneak in.
Nope. Nope.
And the East gets better by the year.
For
They're not going to
sure.
be able to bullshit their way into the playoffs.
And whatever. Jalen Brown's back tonight. That's cool.
He's back
Let's see
tonight.
how long let's see if that lasts 2 weeks.
Exactly. And
Honestly,
he's
to be
so off
honest,
and
I know
on.
we talk about, like we're gonna give our Celtics take every week because it's like it feels if we kind of owe it to the city. Just to give some Celtics takes. But not much has changed from last week or the week before or the week before that. It's the same beat these guys are playing to right now, man. It's constant lackluster basketball, uninspiring basketball. Dudes just going for it on their own. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
At this point, I'm
inconsistent,
just waiting for the trade. I'm waiting for the
inconsistent
trade to
play style,
happen.
inconsistent roster. We've been waiting for a trade for quite some time.
And I don't even know what trade you do because
Just look at this team. This is really some fucking sports hub shit though. The negativity with the Celtics right now.
yeah.
But
We're
look at
on
this
sports
team.
radio.
Look at this team now in your expectations for them, in your high ceiling, the highest ceiling you can think of for them. And then think of how you thought about the Celtics in the 2017, 2018 season, going into the 2019 season, even last season. Like,
Yeah.
think about the difference in expectations and how they've slowly gone down over the
It's
years.
a downward trend.
So don't tell me there's nothing wrong with this team. Just don't tell me like they're a work in progress and whatnot.
Yeah,
Because
we're over that
there's
now.
no work to be done. Unless you're looking for a nice 14, 15, 16 draft pick. Then go for it. Because
My thing is like,
This is the worst spot a basketball team can be in right now.
if you're Brad, do you force it and trade Jalen or Jason? I don't even know what his thought is might be on that. Or do you kind of force it and trade Marcus Smart and maybe Neesmith and try to get another guy? Are we just gonna have to go through the season and this is the team and they're gonna be in the
When will it
play-in and they
end
probably
too?
lose?
When will it end too? Because
Yeah,
everybody's
like there has to
relatively
be a
young.
roadmap.
You can keep telling us that the future's bright and whatnot. Everybody's still relatively young, but we've seen teams in the past bet on their young roster or say, "Oh, we're young right now, but just wait." In all sports, and it
OKC.
just doesn't pan out because, as I've said before, and as I've said, go check out my article. Maybe I'll share it again on social media and send
Yeah,
it
it
to
might be a
whoever
good
wants to see.
time.
I wrote an article a year ago talking about the Celtics window closing, and it's been closed. I thought that heading into the 20, well before the bubble playoffs, I was like, the window is closed, not just
Almost
for
2
them.
years ago.
Yeah, not just for them winning a championship, just getting there. Because everybody says just wait. The Tatum's only 19, Brown's only whatever. Now they are both at a certain age, and other teams with other young players are going much farther. As I stated in the article, it's like Brown and Tatum aren't the only young players in the league. There's a bunch of young players in the league with better rosters around them, better coaches, and everything and not to just, I shouldn't say better coaches, because I do think Brad Stevens is a good coach, and I do think it's too early to judge Ime Udoka.
Agreed.
But just better rosters and better situations around them. And I think every offseason we told Jalen and Jason, like, no, you guys, we're just expecting them to one day when they hit the age of 27 or something become Jordan and Pippen.
Oof, they're in the finals.
Right. That's just not how it works. And I guess I sound like a pessimist right now, but
I think you sound like a realist.
it might be time. It might be time to at least think about blowing it up. Because yeah, Jalen and Jason are really freaking good, but so is Luka. And so are plenty of other young players. Look at Devin Booker. They went out of their way. They got Chris Paul, and look at what that veteran leadership has done.
Man, Phoenix.
The Celtics had Kemba Walker getting hurt every 2
perfectly.
seconds. Yeah, Phoenix has played it perfectly.
We really wish we were Phoenix with how they played that, because we were in similar situations. They had their two young guys, Booker, Ayton, and Bridges.
That's not a glamorous destination. One of the reasons I say the Celtics shouldn't expect free agents is because nobody wants to come here.
Right.
But Phoenix, like, there's no excuse. They have a much worse owner that doesn't give a fuck about their team. They're in Phoenix, Arizona, where it's 120 degrees every day.
That owner might go to jail like tomorrow for all we know.
Right. And they were down in the dumps for years, but now they pulled they took a couple chances. They made moves, which the Celtics don't do. They don't make moves.
Right.
I feel like under different ownership or general managership, Marcus Smart wouldn't be here anymore. Grant Williams wouldn't be on it's not going to work. There's no future with these guys. But we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, no, I just look at Phoenix and I think, man, that's literally what we should have been Phoenix, because we had the same ingredients they had, but our guys messed up in the kitchen. But man, we can move on from the Celtics. I did. All right, so say? I guess I'll do my quick little apology. What's the quote?
Oh, the Bill Parcells quote?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, if you want me to cook it was something like, if you want me to cook in the kitchen, you got to let me buy the ingredients.
Yeah.
Something to craft.
Something similar. Something along those lines.
Somebody's yelling at their phone right now or something.
Right. Probably has that like on the wall.
They have it. They have it tattooed on their wrists.
They wake up and see it every day. But I just wanted to give quick apologies, and we can move on from NBA after game unless you have any final thoughts on any teams around the league.
No, we have a lot of Urban Meyer talk for you coming up.
A whole hour on Urban. So I hope you guys stay tuned. I just wanted to personally apologize to the Chicago Bulls, man. I mean, they're currently 17-10, and it's crazy because as we're recording this now, they just had their own COVID outbreak. Which big picture NBA and
yeah,
even the NFL,
The
It's
league
looking like it's
offices are
coming back,
expecting
man.
like a lot of through like the holidays, like
COVID is
there's
back,
going to be a
bro.
lot more COVID stuff going on,
That
sadly.
shit is back. Dude, I think Chicago now or tonight's game, they have who's on their COVID list? It was it was literally the whole roster. Yeah, it's Levine, Io, DeRozan, Javante Green. Like the whole roster is out with COVID right now. But that's not to take away from the reason why I want to talk about them today. And that's because, man, they've been so much better than I thought they would be. They're third in the East. DeRozan's having a career year. He's averaging 26, 5, and 4, which is crazy because he's only taking like 2.5 threes a game.
Yeah.
But which is an uptick for him, but to still give you 26 while
One of
doing
the
that is
great
crazy
mid-range shooters of his
for sure.
generation, really.
He's on the top of those lists, definitely. Lonzo's having a really good year as just a table setter for the offense. Another guy, like we talked about this with Sani a few
Yeah.
episodes back, but would have been perfect to have on the Celtics. He's been thriving in Chicago. He's shooting 42% on threes, which is career high for him. Levine is still averaging 26, and he's sort of the second fiddle to DeRozan, which is, I think, really impressive that he's able to produce at that level while not getting enough touches. Vucevic is the guy, I guess, out of the super or all-star quad
Right.
or whatever, who's having the down year. But, you know, even he's still playing with effort. They're 12th on offense, 8th in defense. This is without Patrick Williams. They have a deep bench. Caruso, who's
Right.
awesome. Derek Jones Jr., Ayo Dosunmu, Javante Green. When they throw Alonzo Caruso out there on the backcourt, man, it's devastating on defense. I
That's
think
where they
two
are.
lineups with those are under.
It's with
Yeah,
their
that's
depth,
that's their
really. That's
strong
where their
suit,
strong suit is. And it's like
which
they
surprised
have,
me because I didn't see that coming.
yeah, they have more than what some of the best teams in the league are lacking. Like you look at
Yeah,
Brooklyn, you look at, and I think Brooklyn's roster is a little better than you think it is, but it's better than it, they got more than Brooklyn. They got more than um the Lakers. They got more than all these other teams that are so top heavy. Where
deep
of
team.
course you'd rather have LeBron and AD or KD and Harden than Levine
Right.
and DeRozan. But when you go down the roster, it's like the roster is just far superior. Um, Shout out to them.
Seriously,
Shout
they're
out to the
deep.
coach.
Billy Donovan,
Yeah,
who's
I
had his
mean,
up and
who's
downs,
had his ups and
but
downs, but has rolled with the punches and hasn't done anything
exactly.
controversial like our next guy, who the guy we're going to be talking about in the other league, who made a jump from college to the pros. He didn't do any of that bullshit, you know? He's coached some
Nope.
solid teams. He took that credit to Chris Paul, obviously. It's one of the greatest things on his
Right.
resume. That OKC team that was destined to tank, making the playoffs. Probably should have beat Houston in that game.
Almost beating Houston in 7. Trying to
Yeah,
go to game 7. Crazy.
Donovan Donovan was a part of that, and now he leaves OKC and they're fucking losing by 73 points to Memphis without John Morant, and he's got a really good roster playing really great basketball. Um, so I share your sentiments. I didn't think nobody really thought, uh, unless there's probably some people who just play 2K that thought this team would be really good,
Right.
because they play 2K. It looks good on 2K.
There's a bunch
Uh,
of 13-year-olds who were just spot on about the Bulls this season.
Most people though did not, right, exactly. Most people did not think that this team would be this good. So yeah,
Right.
I apologize as well. I didn't think they'd be this good. I thought they'd be a playoff team. I thought they'd be 6, 7, 8 range. But it's looking like
Mhm.
2, 3, 4 range for them at this point in time
Seriously.
in a really good Eastern
Yeah.
Conference. And that's another team I'm rooting for to do well. It's a likable
Nah, yeah,
roster. It's a
they're really
guy, it's
fun
a
to
bunch of guys
watch.
looking for redemption too, who have had
Mm,
maybe
it's a good
unfairly
recipe.
who have had unfair criticism over the years, even though I'm sure I've given out some of that unfair criticism. Is Steph? Never mind.
Same.
Every time he takes a three, I'm gonna look down. Oh, he only has
What's
3
he
to go,
what's he
man.
at?
The third
Oh,
quarter is
he's
about
gonna
to
get
end. He
it.
has 3 to go for the record.
He's getting it tonight, bro, for sure.
Does he have 3 to break or 3 to pass? I'm assuming to
Oh
break.
yeah, yeah, that's a good question. Is
But
it
yeah, this quarter is
let's see
about to
what
end.
Twitter's saying?
Let me just
Um, no, I'm with you on Chicago though, man. It's an eye test thing too with like it was what game I was
intensity.
watching versus Charlotte last week, where DeRozan, who man, when you watch him play, he's been so good this season, especially in the clutch. He killed Brooklyn. He was part of that storm that killed the Celtics a few weeks back when they were up like 18 and still lost.
Yeah.
But that game in Charlotte, which was kind of Chicago in a nutshell for me, it was a stretch in the second quarter. DeRozan just giving everyone buckets. Then he comes out. Then they have Levine and Lonzo running the show basically. And there was the one possession where Lonzo fast break, pass to Javante, pass to a cutting Levine, pass to Alonzo, and of course he's gonna pass it to an even open Vucevic because that's just who Lonzo is. Vucevic makes the three. It was one of the better games for him. He finished with 30, but yeah, just apologies to Chicago. Fun team to watch. The numbers prove it. The eye test proves it. And they're gonna be making some noise in this postseason, man. I don't think teams are gonna be looking forward to playing against them.
Yeah, and the point I was about to make before I got distracted by the game is like, yeah, DeRozan. Oh, I see him as like, yeah, he's really good 1-on-1 and everything, but you know, when it matters most, he never really came through in the big moment, in a big time spot. I know him and Lowry just got used to just get worked by LeBron. It was just a predetermined thing at the beginning of the year. Like, Toronto's going to have a great regular season record and then just get swept by LeBron in the playoffs.
Right. It's bad when people are calling your city LeBronto. Like, that's bad.
Yeah. And then Kawhi comes the next year and they win the title. So like that was a bad look for DeRozan. Ball, I've always been a defender for. So I'm not going to apologize to him. I've always thought he was good. I want him to the Celtics to get him too, as we've said a million times on this pod at this point. But Ball, just because he's not, people just expect some of these top 3 picks to become all NBA guys. He's not that, but he's really freaking good at defending, at passing, and he's improving every single year. He came into such a shitty situation with that Lakers team. That was such a shitty way to start your career, and he's really bounced back. And I feel like this is a team that likes each other, which is something you wouldn't have expected. Like all these guys who need the ball in their hand. And then Levine, who we've always called good stats, bad team guy, who's just like sort of negative feelings towards him because it's like you didn't
empty calories, empty stats,
and you don't deserve that. Like that dunk contest win, the second one, it's like Gordon deserved it. That's my opinion. And just like he's seen guys who get way too worked up over that shit.
Yeah,
like Levine seemed to, like at the same time we want our stars
games, bro.
Right, exactly. Where it's like where he sort of got typecasted as just the dunker at that point. Dunker, then good stats, bad team guy. Jordan Poole, no good.
I'm pulling the game up now as we speak.
3 to go.
Yeah, man. No, I agree with you 100% on the Lonzo thing because people do want him to be this all NBA guy.
Right.
That's just not who he is. Ironically enough, it might be his little brother. But
we'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
And that's probably what, is preventing Lonzo. I think it's the scoring with him that's prevented him from really taking that all NBA leap. Because you mentioned it. The defense is there, obviously, the playmaking, his steadily improvement each season. Those are all things you want to see. If he was a little more aggressive, I think it's actually a scary number. Only 0.6 free throw attempts per game of the season, which that just screams out, I am not driving to the lane, or I'm not looking for contact. So if you want to pick out a little bit of Lonzo's flaws, there's some there, but still having a really good year on a really good team. So
yeah,
shout out to you, Chicago.
Yeah, and those fans deserve it. They've sat through. They were in the worst possible spot for a basketball team for so long, and there was no light.
They almost had Derrick Rose,
the D Rose thing, and then, which we talk about briefly on the top 10 point guard of the 21st century list, which will be dropping Wednesday.
Yeah, good plug.
We'll be dropping Wednesday. So guys, check that out on the Hoop Chat. It's really fun. I'm thinking maybe next week we do top 10 shooting guards.
Yeah,
first century. It's a good time. And Jay Cali pops in on that one too. Our good friend Jovan Perry pops in at the end. It was a really great podcast. So check that out when it drops. Me and Jay are people say we agree too much. We didn't completely agree on that list.
Yeah,
there were some very. I was looking at him funny for a second.
There was some pushing, some back and forth there.
There's some back. Yeah, there was some drawing.
I think you guys will definitely enjoy it though. Definitely,
you definitely enjoy it.
Shall we jump into football, Gabe? Any
Yeah,
thoughts that you have?
I
Last
mean,
thoughts?
no, I'm good. I'm good on hoops. Something might pop into my head at the end of the podcast. Maybe I'll say something then.
Yeah.
Let's jump into football. And
Football,
we'll start
football.
with Urban Meyer. For those
let's
of you who don't know,
let's
this
start
guy
with
is like
him,
an
man.
absolute maniac. The one time we ever mentioned him on this podcast is when that video came out of him like letting some like 21-year-old girl back it up on him at a bar after a loss.
After a loss,
After a
yeah.
loss, like he flew not on the team plane, he got on another plane, flew directly there.
Yo, he's a fucking nut.
Now you're hearing that after they lost the other day, he blew up on the team and called out the assistant coaches saying they're a bunch of losers. And Urban, I'm a winner. You guys are a bunch of losers. What's your resume to prove to me that you're a winner?
What a
And now
weirdo.
it's not they. I completely believe it because there was there's always been a little drama with him.
Right.
And you see on Sunday they lose, and that handshake was just egregious. Do you see the handshake at the
I
end of
didn't
the
even
game
see
they
that
did?
actually.
It's like he
No,
didn't
I
even look the
didn't.
guy in the eye. He just shakes his hand like running
Really?
away. Um, just the opposite of a class act. I doubt
He needs
he's
to go
there
back to
next year.
college.
He needs to go
Get him
back
out
to
of the league.
college. And this is what we fucking say, dude. These college coaches are not on the same level as an NFL coach. Because the
Yep.
NFL coach, you coach. Unless you're
Mhm.
Belichick and you're
Grown
GM and
men.
shit. You're coaching grown men. You have to control a locker room. These are not, oh, I got 5-star recruits here that'll be in the league someday. All these guys are pros. There's not just
Mhm.
15 future pros on your roster. These are all pros. This is the cream of the crop. Um, it's a business. People are buying tickets to these games, and they had high hopes when you came in. You have the number 1 draft pick, a really talented young QB that you've done fucking nothing with. That's just rotting away.
Jack
Meanwhile, you
shit.
see what a situation can do to a guy like Mac Jones. Um, I just really don't like the guy, and I don't think he'll be there. I think he'll run back to college. And
Yeah, he's not built for this.
a lot of these college guys, they're not built for the league. It
Nope.
takes a different type of genius to coach successfully in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree with all those sentiments there, man. Um, just a loser, bro. He's just a straight up loser. Trying to think like what else I have to say about him, but that's really it. That sums him up.
Yeah, and people are gonna be like, "Oh, you're calling him a loser. Who are you?" And he's won this national title and that national title at this
Yeah, but
program
he's
and
like a
that
loser
program. But it's
human
like
being.
he's always we don't
Yeah,
like his character, and he's always in college. He always has the best talent,
they're 2
which
and
is
11. Pathetic, bro.
it's really bad. And I don't think their roster is that bad.
It's not.
Uh, they shouldn't be. They're probably gonna end up with the second pick because it looks like Detroit is back to their losing ways.
Mm.
But yeah, disappointing with Urban Meyer. We all kind of expected it. You had guys like, and we'll bring up Rosillo again. Like he's a college guy. A lot of college guys are like, give him a chance. Blah blah blah.
Mm.
It's what'd you expect? It's their 4th week together. Of course, they're not. They haven't won a game yet. Shit like that. But now we're this far in, and it's gotten worse and worse.
Yeah, it's pretty
It seems
disappointing.
to it's reaching its breaking point, and I'm wondering what's the next drama piece that will
I
come out
know. I feel
about
like
him.
some nut shit's gonna
Yeah,
happen,
something
dude.
even crazier. Like these stories are coming out during
Like by the week.
live, and while he's still employed there. Imagine the pieces that will come out after he leaves about
Yeah.
Urban Meyer. It's going to be insane. It's going to be like people could probably, even though it's only been 10 weeks, 15 weeks, whatever, people are probably going to be able to write books
Mhm.
about it. That's how crazy it is.
Just imagine the tension right now in the locker room. Like, how do
Yeah.
you even show up to a locker room after knowing you just dissed your whole coaching staff? Yeah, he's like a psychopath or some shit. That doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, that's Urban Myers. What I guess we can talk about our beloved Tampa. It's another NFL moment that we have some thoughts on
Yeah.
from this
Briefly
past
mentioned it up
weekend.
top.
Yeah, I mean, there. Let's see.
I
They're
just
10
feel
and
like
3 now.
they have a
So
really good record, and they're still not playing their best football. So like I'm
yeah.
still hopeful on them.
Mhm.
However, my gripe with them, my gripe with Brady, who like has been
Yeah.
putting out great stats, is probably gonna be the MVP. But
Yeah.
he'll just have some really, really bad throws. Where it's like if you
Yeah.
just made that throw, you would have put this game to bed 30 minutes ago. Instead, we're in overtime with the Bills at home. When you
Is
had like a
that
24-point lead, 21-point lead.
see like he's obviously beat Father Time and he's obviously the GOAT, but that has to be an age thing to me.
Right. And he makes amazing throws. He made one to Mike Evans. He made a couple to Mike Evans
Two,
yesterday.
yeah.
Yeah, he's made some great. He's still, for one drive, you want Brady. But
Yeah.
I
I
don't
mean,
think he
game winning
plays.
throw.
I haven't in a while seen him play. And he has during his Bucks tenure. He did this year. Like that Bears win. I know it's the Bears. I mean, look
Yeah.
at Green Bay struggling with them at home yesterday for a little bit.
Right.
But the Bucks murdered the Bears and they played a full 60-minute game of football. I feel like these past like 5 games or whatever, and I'm seeing it a lot with him. Even in the playoffs last year, he'll play a good 25 to 30 minutes, but he hasn't played a full great 60-minute game in a very long time.
Yeah.
And I
I
think
guess
that is
that
an
that
age
might be
thing.
part of why we see a lot of Lenny maybe.
Could be. Uh Regardless, like it's not the pressure or anything, the why he's missing. He just misses these throws sometimes. But then he'll make a throw
Yeah.
right after. It's just like it's kind of like it's been inconsistent.
Yeah. It's kind of like LeBron this season, just a little bit back to
Picking
basketball.
his
Well,
spots.
he'll have moments where it's 30, 10, and 5, but then he'll miss the next 2 games. In a
Yeah.
weird kind of parallel. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Though,
but it's
but
like my thing with LeBron
same
is like
thing.
he's if Brady was really picking his spots like I think LeBron does, even
Mm,
though I agree with you at this point, like LeBron isn't the same guy.
yeah.
Uh if you're picking your spots, why would you pick all your spots in like the first quarter and then disappear for the entire third quarter? Which
That's
is
a good
kind of what
point.
Brady be doing.
Yeah.
And we've seen them do it a lot. Not to slander the GOAT. Of course, he's still our father. Of course, he's probably gonna win MVP at age 44 this year, which is just
Yeah.
nuts. Uh,
45
but like he could have
touchdowns.
been wrapped up the MVP award. And it's out
Exactly.
there in the open because of him not playing full football games in my eyes.
Man, I hope
There's
this is
definitely
not the
stuff to work
theme.
on.
I hope this isn't going to be the theme of Tampa's season. The
Right.
could have
Kind of was
finished
last
it,
year.
should have
They
done
still
it.
won, but it
Yeah,
was
last year,
but the
last year they
defense
did
isn't
it.
what it was last year, which is why I'm a little
Exactly.
worried because he goes off in the first half versus Green Bay, but then throws 3 picks,
Right, but the
which
defense
is
will
my
just take
point.
care of the job because they're
And
so
he can still
good.
pull it out. He'll still make the great passes at the end of the game and whatnot. But
Hmm.
it's that middle piece. Like who knows when the other
Yeah,
team won't let that fly.
right.
Um, we kind of saw it in the Saints game too.
If
And
you're Tampa, who
I
are
guess
you?
I can't even point to the Super Bowl because that game was just wrapped up. It
Okay.
wasn't Brady slowing down. It was just like it's time to run the ball.
If you're Tampa, who are you afraid to play the most in the playoffs?
I don't want to deal with Arizona's
Mhm.
pass rush. And I don't, if Kyler Murray's healthy, that will be an issue for them. As we
He's
saw with Josh
scary.
Allen running the ball yesterday. They
Yeah,
have
I don't.
trouble. They do have trouble with mobile quarterbacks. Probably because they don't have a mobile quarterback. This could be part of it. They don't have like a mobile backup quarterback. So they don't see that shit in practice ever, really. Oh, you entered the gulag for a second, didn't you?
I definitely just entered the gulag.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm basically just saying they don't have a backup quarterback who's like a mobile quarterback, so they
Mm,
can't reenact that shit in practice. So I feel like the
good
defense might
point.
do where like
That's
you
a good point.
look at the teams at a team like the Ravens where their
Yeah.
backup court Huntley is still
Taylor
like
Huntley,
he can still move around like better than most
basically
quarterbacks.
another Lamar. Yeah.
Like he's probably like the fourth like has the fourth best like running moves as in terms of quarterbacks.
Right.
If
In
you
the
saw the game
league.
yesterday, he did a bunch. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So some teams are gonna be more prepared for that shit than others.
Mm,
I still like the but I would never bet against Brady. However, I don't think they'd want to see a team with a mobile quarterback like a Kyler Murray. That would be bad. The Rams, they already played the Rams this year, so I
I'm
think
not
that
scared
bodes
of
well
him.
for them. So I'm not really scared of them, but a team with Aaron Donald scares me. And I think
Yeah.
the Rams are 2-0 against the Bucks in the past 2 years.
They have
So
owned them. Yeah, good
that
point.
that kind of worries me. I'm thinking about somebody else. I'm not fucking scared of Green Bay. Sorry,
Nope.
folks. I don't care if they go undefeated the rest of the year. They it's similar to the Rockets thing where people would pick the Rockets the past like 5 years to win the title. It's like
Yeah.
I'll believe it when I see it, and maybe we'll
Right.
see it. But they find a way to blow it every single year. Whether it's mentioning the Malcolm Butler interception, the game before that in 2015, they absolutely blow it to Seattle. Of course, last year Rodgers got weak in the knees when it mattered most, wouldn't run into the end zone against the Bucks.
Yes. That's the
Uh,
that's the moment.
yeah, just got and basically got outplayed by Brady in that game too, even though Brady's way older.
Right.
Uh, I'm not.
That was
Green
in
Bay is the
Lambeau
team I
too.
want. I want Green Bay to be. If somebody's going to be in the one seed that's not the Bucks, I want it to be Green Bay because they're always going to fall apart. There's always
Yeah.
going to be a little Rodgers drama hovering above. Is he going to leave after this year or not? Like that's always going to be hovering above Green Bay. So that's a team, and Steph is still 3 point
Mhm.
3 points away. Um,
No,
yeah.
yeah.
Anybody else in
It's
the
funny
NFC?
because
That's it,
you
man.
know what's weird,
I'm not afraid
bro?
of the Cowboys either at this point.
I'm not afraid of Dallas. Nope. I'm not afraid of Dallas. I'm also not afraid of Green Bay. I'm with you on that. I have to, I guess, slightly disagree with you because I'm not afraid of Arizona that much either. Just because
Interesting.
with Kyler, like he's so great and so dynamic, but none of one of those things where I kind of want to see him play well into like the end of the year slash
I feel
playoffs.
you. I feel like he's just been so injury
He's
riddled.
electric
So
though. He's
I'm afraid
electric.
he's been injury riddled, which hurts the momentum. And I'm
Right.
just worried about what if he,
Yeah.
what
Can
if
he
they're all
last?
just stay healthy and just go nuts. They've been killing everybody, Jay, and they're
They're
playing
definitely
right
the
now
most
against the Rams.
talented.
They're playing the Rams right now, which could change our minds. I'll probably catch the end of that game.
Yeah.
Great sports tonight. Great sports tonight with the Celtics,
Bro.
Bucks, Rams, Cardinals.
No, they're a
Again,
good
Steph
team,
going
but
for
I don't know,
just going
man.
for
You know
two.
what's weird? And maybe I'm just being a weirdo. I'm most afraid of the 49ers and the Washington football team.
I I
And I
would
know
be
you feel me
afraid.
on that a little.
Did we bring this up on the pod yet
I think
about
we texted
Heineke?
about it. We texted, but we didn't
Yeah.
bring it up.
So with the football team,
Mhm.
Heineke, we root for him, right? We love Heineke, but I'm kind of done rooting for him because that is totally the team that would,
He's
and we've seen it
dangerous
this year. That's the kind of team that beats Brady in the playoffs.
for
It's
sure.
not the great quarterbacks. It's not the Mahomes. It's not the Peyton Mannings. It's not the fucking Aaron Rodgers. It's the teams with the Eli Manning, with a Jake
Yep.
Plummer, with
Mark
a Joe
Sanchez.
Flacco, with a Mark Sanchez. It's these weird ass QB teams that end up beating uh, whatever team Brady has been on in the past. And
Yeah.
we saw it earlier this year. Rivera in the stuttering a lot because there's so many thoughts running through my head on this podcast. The Panthers always owned the Pats. Of course, the games would go down to the
Mhm.
wire. I remember Gronk not getting that call in the end zone, the
The
pass
Monday
interference call
night.
on Monday night. But the Panthers, I don't think in Ron Rivera's tenure with Carolina,
Mhm.
the Patriots ever beat them with Brady at least.
Mhm.
So I think Rivera knows Brady pretty well. So I agree with you. It's not a team I'd want to see. At this point in time, it doesn't look like they're going to make the playoffs too. They're just too
Yeah.
inconsistent. They
Right
haven't caught
now,
fire. They're not a team that's caught fire. They're just a inconsistent team. So
yeah. They're
otherwise, I'd
so
agree with you.
inconsistent.
Otherwise, I agree with you.
Right
And
now, they're in the playoffs. They're the seventh seed with that extra seeding, but they're also tied for seventh with literally five other teams: Minnesota, Philly, Atlanta, New
exactly
Orleans. They all
right.
have the same record, so that can change
Yeah. And then
week by week.
you said San Francisco. I agree with you
Niners were
because they're
another
just red
team.
hot. They're just red hot.
They're red hot,
And
and
Jimmy G's a
Jimmy,
weirdo QB too.
he's
So
a weirdo
he fits the
QB.
narrative.
He really does. He's a guy I don't trust. I trust Heineke way more than Jimmy G, which I mean, some people might agree with that, some people might not, but
It might sound crazy to some people, but actually watch a whole game of football and you'll see Jimmy G's a fucking mess.
he's dude, even that last game that they ended up winning, they beat Cincy because Cincy, I don't even know what the fuck's going on
Up
with
the pick
them.
six.
But Jimmy G threw a pick six. And of course, Niners fans are going to say, oh, he led us to the game winning field goal. But he literally threw a pick six on that drive. And they had this fucking Michael Crabtree reincarnation guy who was going crazy. And then Brandon Ayuk with the game winning touchdown, which was just a crazy play. So, like, Jimmy's just, Like he's such a fluky quarterback, which he fits the mold of the Eli prototype. But just that team overall, they have so much guys, man. Kittle, Ayuk, Bosa. I can just see Bosa causing havoc
Yeah.
on that Bucks
Yeah, it's a
offensive
defense you
line.
don't want to see either, which is what
Yeah,
really worries me.
and good, well coached too. So, or are they really well coached? Who knows? I mean, they're 7-6. They're getting healthy. Yeah, he's a good coach, Shanahan. He might be a little overrated, but I think he's still a good coach. Yeah, so
Yeah.
those are the two teams that scare me, but we'll see how this plays out, man. As far as the AFC, I don't fucking know with that conference. I mean, the Pats are one, which is great. Tennessee, who they beat? They beat, was it Houston? Or I think it was I don't know. They beat a crappy
Tennessee,
team.
they
Yeah.
handled somebody.
They beat some crappy. They beat Jacksonville. Of course, yeah, our boy Urban. KC, Gabe.
Casey's back,
KC.
man. That's what I'm telling Patriots fans and shit. Like, yeah, the Pats look really good, but Casey's really on fire.
6-game win streak.
I know the Raiders are weird, but beating anybody 48-9. And their issue this year has been putting points on the board, strangely enough.
Yeah.
And that was a dominant on both sides of the ball.
Yeah,
Yesterday.
they obviously have turned it around, but it's still weird to me how
They're hot,
how they
man. They're
just
just as hot as
instantly
the
turned it
Patriots.
around.
They're just as
They
hard
no,
as the
they literally
Patriots, and they
are.
have Pat Mahomes.
I know they're the most scariest team in the league still, just because of that kid alone. But it just
Right.
doesn't make sense to me how they were abysmal like what 6-7 weeks ago, and then all of a sudden, I guess they got healthy on defense. Maybe that helps.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, it looks like Mahomes is making the same throws he was making again. Tyreek Hill is all of a sudden wide open every time. It's like, what happened? But I don't know. Talent does prevail. I guess that's case in point right there. Baltimore, Lamar Jackson, he had an ankle injury.
Yeah,
We'll
it's
see what
looking slow
happens
for
with
them.
him.
Also,
The
Baltimore is just not a team I
Chargers,
would never even. It's an extreme
can't trust
version
them.
of Green Bay in the playoffs where I don't even expect Baltimore to make it
Yeah,
out of the second round ever, let alone beat the Patriots in Gillette or something. Of course, back in the day, that was what they're known for, but not
facts.
anymore. Let's talk
Like when they
about
had the Ray,
this is kind of in the
Ray
past at
Ned.
this point, and I don't know if you caught this game, but the Vikings and Steelers game was pretty nuts.
Yo, so I
It
missed this
perfectly
game.
summed out it perfectly summed up the both of those teams.
I missed this game, but please tell us because it sounded like that game was a circus from the jump. The floor is yours, Gabe. What
So the
happened?
Vikings are murdering the Steelers. The Steelers can get no offense. They're down by they were I can't remember what they were down by. I think it was 28 points. Like I think it was it was a blowout. Slowly but surely during the third quarter, the Steelers just started coming back. Najee Harris, Big Ben starting to
Beast.
throw dimes. Big Ben was fantastic. I'm sorry, guys. Big Ben was really fucking good in that game.
Yo,
So it's a
even
shame that they lost. I found myself, I don't like the Steelers. I don't like their
bad.
fans, the way they talk, but
You had some
found
odd
myself
Ben
rooting for them.
moments.
I was rooting for them. And they're marching down the field to tie up the game. They need
Oh, here we go.
they would need the 2-point conversion as well. They
Mhm.
lost. They ended up losing 36-28. However, they're marching down the field. Ben's throwing dimes, and they're doing the 1-minute offense basically. They didn't have any time. They had no timeouts. Ben, spike and everything. Claypool catches it across the middle, which is not ideal for the end of the game. You want to throw to the sidelines. Catches across the middle. Will pick up that
They get
ball
the
and
first
spike it.
down.
Dude
Yeah.
starts freaking celebrating
Hulk Hogan
like it's
flexes.
first quarter and you're up by 20.
Yo, that was nuts.
And they lost like an extra 6 seconds on that they lost probably a whole down or two on that
Yeah.
that alone, and they ended up not converting, and the Vikings pulled it out. A sigh of relief. That was probably the end of Zimmer if they lose that game.
Right.
I would have fired him regardless. Like, how
I was
does
gonna
this keep
say
happening?
after you lose to Detroit,
Yeah, and I was thinking like, oh, how does? Yeah, I was thinking like, why wouldn't you just fire him regardless at the end of this game? I feel like that's a team too. Maybe I'm crazy.
yeah.
Steph for 3. No,
Oh.
it's looking slow for the Warriors winning this game.
Oh, he's gonna get it tonight on TNT, and he's gonna hug Reggie at half court. It's gonna be a whole thing.
Yeah, probably.
And then Ray Allen might be there, and they might have like a 3-way hug or some shit.
I thought you were gonna say something else. Um,
Oh, yeah, nasty.
but yeah, the Vikings, it was like this game is way too new. This is going way too well. The Vikings don't blow people out like this.
Yeah,
Some weird shit's about to happen. Eventually it did. And I stuck around. I would never stick around for a Thursday night game that was just a blowout with those two teams. And
right.
for some reason, I was like, let me stick around and see if the Steelers can do something because the Vikings are so weird. And lo and behold, something happened. I really
They
just wanted the
are.
Steelers to pull it off. It was in Minnesota. Dalvin Cook
That
played like
Claypool play,
Dalvin Cook had like the best game of a running back all year.
I
He had
know, it was
over
200
200
yards,
yards of
right?
scrimmage and uh like 3 touchdowns or something. He was going nuts.
Yeah, that's insane. That play though, that's the only, obviously I didn't watch the game, but I did my whole Twitter deep dive search on that and all the different takes and video angles.
Yeah.
And did you see what he said after the game? This is probably
No.
what blew my mind the most. So they interviewed him, whatever. He, like you mentioned, he got the first down, he flexes. The lineman comes and is trying to get the ball, and that sort of gets all messed up. The ball gets knocked out of Claypool's hand because the lineman's trying to get it. And I guess that's what killed the time. But post game, one of the reporters was like, can you tell us what happened there at the end with you flexing or whatever? Like what happened on that drive or that play? Can you tell us? Claypool's like, yeah, man, definitely got to be better. But let's just say if the ball didn't get knocked out my hands, that wouldn't have happened. And it's like,
He was
Jesus fucking
celebrating.
Christ, dude. So you don't even get it that this
Yeah.
is your fault and you're fake taking responsibility, like that fake PR answer, but you're still saying if the lineman didn't knock it down. Dude, the lineman fucking is trying to get the ball out your hands.
Yeah.
And I saw some throwback videos of like, oh, well, look at Larry Fitzgerald in this situation. And it was a video of, I think it was last year, Cardinals Seahawks. Towards the end of the game, Arizona ended up getting the field goal, sending it to overtime, but I think whatever running back got tackled for Arizona. Larry Fitzgerald runs over, just gets the ball out of his hands, sprints it, puts it in the middle.
Right.
They get the time they need. They snap the ball. They send it to overtime. I forgot if they won or lost, but that's the
and that's Larry Fitzgerald
mentally that you're not seeing with Claypool. And I think that's why Ryan Clark went off on him the next day.
I remember I saw that actually.
Yeah, but
so, Fitzgerald,
man,
who has nothing to prove or not or anything, like he's a made man. He's just a winning. That's winning football. And some guys
winning football.
Some guys get it, and some guys don't.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean,
he's young, but right now he doesn't get it.
Anything to add to the NFL? Super Bowl prediction right now.
Yeah, I mean, Herbert had a fucking crazy throw.
He did, yeah.
Super Bowl prediction.
I kind of stopped paying attention to the
Chargers
because they're so up and down. I just don't believe in them anymore.
I know. Yeah, they're whatever. Super Bowl prediction. Oh, Gabe, you're gonna hate this answer. You might love it. Pats Bucks.
I don't want to.
And I think we have to start emotionally preparing ourselves.
I don't want to see it.
I'm not even kidding.
Like let's say,
kidding, Gabe. It might happen.
Like let's say either one of them play. Let's say they're both in the conference championship. You know, one AFC plays at 3, NFC plays at 6. You know how that goes. Let's say the Bucks win.
Yeah.
Or let's say the Patriots win the first game. I might not want to see the Bucks win the next. I don't want to see that.
I know, bro.
That would be absolute. Because the biggest, you want to talk about sports viewing torture? Like that was the Week 4 game in New England. Like I hated that experience.
Times 50. That's what the Super Bowl would be. That times like 1,000,000. I don't even know what the quantitative measure would be. Oh yeah, that's gonna be. You mentioned, you started the pod earlier with how we've never had an emotional roller coaster since that Seahawks Super Bowl. That game, I think we might tap back into those emotions.
Yeah, I might just start crying.
I think it's like the most likeliest too, as for Vegas.
I am gonna go ahead and say Bucks Chiefs.
Just to not.
The Patriots aren't going to be. They really need to fucking light it up versus the Chiefs. And I know the Patriots defense is awesome. Yeah, but there's only I'm back to thinking Patrick Mahomes is inevitable. Yeah, the Pacers are guarding.
He might be.
The Pacers are acting like this game is the NBA Finals. They're
not trying to be part of history.
Yeah,
I respect it. Man, I guess. Our favorite segment. I almost fucking.
Oh yeah, man. 30. That's what we're leading into to wrap up the pod. We're doing good vibes, bad vibes. But yeah, I'll say Bucks Chiefs for now.
Bucks Chiefs.
You're
Okay.
gonna go Bucks
Yeah.
Pats, and
I'm
I
gonna
really
go
don't
Bucks
want to see
Pats.
Bucks
And I
Pats.
hope I'm wrong. I hope to God I'm wrong. We should have like some theme music before fucking good
Good
vibes,
vibes, bad
bad
vibes.
vibes, like
Yeah.
a drum roll or some
Why don't you
shit.
sing for us?
I start reciting Monsters Inc. There's like this song Mike did at the end. It's after the credits.
Yeah.
It's like it was like oh fuck, how does the song go again? I'm gonna have to sing it for you after the show. But it was funny. I just started
Bro,
singing that.
no, I'll
Good
tell you
vibe,
this
bad
after
vibes
the
though. All right,
pod.
Gabe, who do you have for me first, man? You could start.
Sorry, 1 second. Just got pretty good news. Okay.
Ooh,
Good vibes, bad vibes. Here we go. My first one. Actually, I'll switch up the order. My first
okay.
one, in just because he played yesterday, Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. Man. So that's a good one. I'll say good vibes, but man, actually, I don't know. That's actually a really good one. It's up and down with me because I'm gonna have to say bad vibes actually. As of right now, bad vibes. Yeah. He he
He
had
couldn't
some
get it
rough
done back-to-back
moments.
weeks in the clutch.
Yeah, he had some rough moments in the red zone against the Pats. I know that was a crazy weather game, but 6 red zone trips and no touchdowns or 1 touchdown, whatever it was. That's no good. And
This
then the
game's coming down
Bucks,
to the
man,
wire, by the
they
way.
just
It's
started
100,
out
100.
flat. I know now me having to
Steph
open
just
another
needs 2
window. Oh
more.
shit.
Steph just needs 2 more now.
What if he
It's
fucking
100,
does it
100.
right now?
That would be fucking crazy on the pod. If this goes to overtime, it's probably gonna happen.
Right. It's gonna happen for sure.
So
Oh,
it's 2 more
okay.
to win the record, I'm assuming.
Is that
I'm not
okay?
being clear. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But Josh
Going into this
Allen,
game, was it 7
bad
to break the
vibes.
record? Going into this game, was it 7 to break the record, or was it 7 to tie the record?
I think it
I'm
was
assuming to
7.
break.
7 to break, yeah.
Okay, then he'll break it. If he gets 2 more, he breaks the record.
There's a minute left. He's gonna or 47 seconds left. He's gonna get it, bro.
That's crazy. What if it's a game winner and he breaks the record on a game winner?
Oh, Steph is a
It'd be
demon if he
nuts.
does that. Yo, that's some shit if he actually does that. No funny.
Who did you
But
have
yeah,
somebody for me though?
Josh Allen,
Oh yeah,
bad
Josh Allen.
vibes. Back to like you said, just back to back rough weeks. Got to bounce back. Got to get some dubs in. All right, let me throw you my first guy. All right. I'll like try to I'll have this be a strong finish to the list. So I'll start
Okay,
off kind
that's
of
smart.
whatever.
Yeah, I started off with my weakest one.
Yeah, I'll do the same. So my first guy will be Grant Williams.
Oh, Grant.
Oh, Grant.
Good vibes.
Grant boy.
Seems like a great person.
Yeah.
I mean, it's impressive for somebody at that size to do what he does. Of course, I don't think he should be. I think it's a bad sign for your team if you plan on going far in the playoffs if he's getting the amount of time he gets for your team. That's all I'll say. But good vibes.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that's a good answer. All right, who do you have?
Kyle Lowry.
Ooh, that's a good one. That boy Kyle, man. I'll say good vibes. Good vibes for like maybe his career too. Like just good vibes overall for Lowry. I don't remember him disappointing. I know he had the time where LeBron was bullying him and DeRozan, but you can't put that on Kyle Lowry. He's going against LeBron. And then of course he won with Kawhi, and then this year with Miami,
Steph.
sort of a resurgence.
No, sorry.
No, is it still too late?
Oh, who hit that? I'm sorry, Jay.
Watch it be fucking.
Took the lead off of like some crazy putback. I think it was Wiggins.
Watch Draymond just take all the threes from here on out.
These camera angles are crazy. These 4K views coming out. But
Kyle Lowry though, I'll say good vibes because he's just always ever since he got a real guy next to him with Kawhi, he was second best player on a championship team. He's been good in Miami. He's part of the reason why they're doing well this season. So good vibes for Lowry.
He's been on winning basketball teams this whole career. He's been at the forefront of these winning basketball teams.
I do hate the charge bullshit.
I was just going to bring that up. It's not basketball. I think we said it on the pod last week. If it's not really a part of the game, it shouldn't be in the game, If that's not like – it's just not basketball. It's strategic, but it's not the game in its purest form. And we need to keep it at that. in my opinion. I'll be heartbroken if Golden State
Yep.
loses on a last second three by like Brogdon. All right. So that's Kyle Lowry.
RT. All right, Kyle Lowry. So my next guy for you is going to be Matthew Judon.
Good vibes.
Okay.
He's been a beast. He's a Pro Bowler.
Probably our best player.
He's probably the best player on the Pats. He's good in post game and pregame press conferences.
He is.
I'm a fan of the guy. He's been a beast. He's something they were lacking for the past few years. Like just like a legit guy in his prime.
Right.
Who's just an athletic freak and really good at football.
Facts. All right. Good vibes for Judon. Who do you have for me?
Okay. Now my list is gonna go weird.
I'm head. Same.
Mike Felger.
Oh, Mike Felger. All right, hold on. Because I don't want to mix these dudes up. Felger and Maz. Okay, I had to think about that for a second. Man, because I don't listen to him too much from like his takes, but I'm just attaching him to Boston Sports Radio. Maybe that's unfair.
Okay.
Maybe he's like the one good guy in Boston
I mean, he
Sports
is kind
Radio.
of, I would say he's the biggest face of Boston Sports Radio.
Okay, all right. In that case, then bad vibes, because we've mentioned this before. They're just always negative Nancy's, bro.
Yeah.
I mentioned that one time it was after the win against before Buffalo. Who did the Pats beat?
Tennessee.
Was it Tennessee? Right? Yeah, it was Tennessee, and JC Jackson had like an interception.
Yeah.
And I'm just listening to dudes on the radio talking about he's just always there when the ball's in there. He's so lucky.
You think it's a coincidence?
Right.
A million times. It just keeps happening to be luck.
Yeah. His sole purpose on earth was to just be born and get those interceptions at that moment. No work, no skill set, none of it. Yeah. But yeah, that's Boston Sports Radio for me. So I'm just gonna have to attach him to that. Sorry, Mr. Felger, but bad vibes. He's gonna hear this and be like, "Bro, fuck."
I was thinking that too. I would lean.
All right, so it's my turn.
He's entertaining. He is entertaining. I'm not gonna lie. Like I stick around when I hear his voice. You can go.
All right.
We don't need to keep talking on.
Just Felger finishes the pod. All right. My next person is Doris Burke.
Okay. All right.
It's gonna get fun now.
You know, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, every single person on earth would be like, I love Doris Burke. But like, as I've said on this pod, I think sometimes she gets too fucking dramatic for me with, like, example, the fan, if a fan says something to a player or something, it's like, you need to enjoy, you know, like just acting like the fan shoots the player. Yeah. Acting like the fan took out a gun and shot the player in the head. Like just blowing shit out of the proportion.
Right.
Her commentary is really good though. She's definitely upper echelon. I don't think she's that much better than Jeff Van Gundy. You know, like I'm not gonna go out all on a limb and say she's the best out right now. Like that's what some people are trying to say. I disagree with that. So I'll lean good vibes, but I do think the day is gonna come. We're early on this where it's like there's gonna be some zagging on the Doris Burke, and we're early on it. That's all I'll say on that.
It's a good answer. All right, Doris Burke. This is fourth? No,
this is my fourth. Yeah,
fourth. Yeah.
So you heard Simmons earlier.
Yeah.
Can you guess who it is?
Oh, is it Cousin Sal?
No, it's not Cousin Sal. It's not Cousin Sal.
Okay.
Michelle Tafoya.
Yo, so what's up with that? Is she like?
Oh no, she's like. I guess she might be like crazy conservative, anti-vax. I'm not sure though.
Oh, is that what's going on there? Is that because it's 3 weeks now? I think Simmons was saying she hasn't been on, and I haven't even noticed it, to be honest, until he brought it up. I was like, oh shit, yeah, we haven't even seen her in a minute. Michelle Tafoya, I mean, I'll say good vibes, to be honest, because I always enjoy her sideline commentating. And when I think Michelle Tafoya, I think Sunday Night Football, I think Alan Chris, and that's usually a happy place for me. So good vibes for Michelle Tafoya. I do hope she's okay, because it does seem like she went missing. I don't know what's going on there, but
right.
Good vibes though, as far as like how I consume her and whatnot. That was funny though. That
she said something. She said something on The View apparently that
Oh,
ruffled
really?
feathers. Yeah.
That's
The
interesting.
sports media world reacts to Michelle Tafoya news.
Seeing John Stockton the other day was back in Kyrie. He had
He's a
some shit
fucking
to say. Did
weirdo.
you see
Stockton was a
that?
douchebag in the Last Dance pod.
He was.
And
Jazz. I
talking
mean,
about it,
we
like I
don't
don't really
know.
want to
We
talk
know
about
about
this. It's
him.
like, yeah, this guy demoralized you. That's why everybody's so salty from that generation.
Facts. Nah, dead ass.
A steal?
All right, so that's funny because I guess I kind of ruined my next person, and my next good vibe, bad vibes is cousin Sal.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Great vibes. Cousin Sal's so funny. He's so
he's the goat, yo. As far as
effortlessly
comedy on
funny.
that
It's so
show,
easy for him to be funny. I love his bits on Kimmel. We get sad every
oh,
time. It's
yo,
like
I
he's only
forgot
in your
about those
life for
those
3
bits
months a
on
year.
Kimmel.
Yeah. Like the
Yeah, bro,
pranks
I'm
that are
glad you
way
brought
too
those
much.
bits
He's
on
a
Kimmel.
psychopath.
If you go on a YouTube hole with cousin Sal pranks, you'll be on your phone for like an hour just laughing, bro.
He makes people think they're about to be murdered, basically.
Remember the fake prank one he did, where he just went around the office like acting like he was just doing normal stuff, like handing
Yeah.
them a napkin.
That's how you know he's insane.
I was
People are
say,
just ready
yeah.
for it.
That
Yeah, I
just
love
tells you how
Cousin Sal.
trapped he is. Oh man, so good vibes for the cuz.
Yeah. Is that am I on my last
All
one?
right. I have one more. Do I have like 6? No, I have 5. Wait,
I have
do
one
have
more.
6.
I
No,
have
I
one
have
more.
5.
I have one
I
more.
forgot to count. Yeah,
This
same
one's
one
gonna
more.
be a curveball. Aaron
Ooh,
Yeager.
okay.
Aaron Yeager.
Oh, Gabe. Ah, that's a really good one, man. Bad vibes.
Ah, we're not rocking with
Bad
Aaron
vibes.
anymore.
Yeah, I'm just against this euthanization shit that him and fucking Zeke are on, bro.
Nobody knows
that
what the fuck we're talking about right
I
now.
know there's probably only a third of our listeners who might know.
Yeah. Aaron Yeager from the Japanese anime
you know
series
what I'm
Attack on
talking
Titan.
about.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's been
Yeah, you know what I'm
he's
talking
been a
about,
wild
bro.
boy
That
recently.
shit.
He's been a wild boy recently. You remember when
I'm
he
not
pulled
with
up?
I'm not with that shit.
You remember when we pulled up at the end of that episode where like we hadn't seen him in a while and Mikasa and Armin?
Underground.
That was crazy. But after that, Mikasa and Armin are like eating in a room or something, or they're in a room, and then they just cut to Eren in his.
Yeah.
You know how Titans, when they slit their hand, when blood comes, they turn into Titans.
Right.
And it's just him.
Yeah.
It's him with his cut up hand, and the episode just ends like that. That shit was crazy. He's been a bad boy recently.
God, that was so crazy.
New season coming out next month.
He's been insane. Bro, when I seen, and I really hope he wasn't gonna go in that direction. I think it's Zeke.
He's like a fucking jerk.
It's fucking Zeke, man.
I'm waiting. Everybody who reads it is like, Zeke's the best. No, Zeke's actually the hero. And I'm like, I'm waiting for it. I'm still waiting for that part where he makes sense.
Oh, is that what they say in the manga? Is Zeke the hero?
Maybe.
Whatever, dude. I don't know. This is like pure evilness. I hate to like. This is like some Hitler shit, honestly. What Zeke and Eren are on.
Sorta. It's like
maybe not, because I guess it's their own people.
And if you
so it's not Hitler.
And spoiler alert,
if Hitler started killing Germans, I guess.
Well, yeah, it's like. Well, I always said it's like if Martin Luther King and Malcolm X were like, "Oh, black people are suffering. Let's just make it so black people can't have babies anymore."
Yeah,
and then nobody else will have to suffer. It's like, no, why aren't you fighting for your freedom? This guy murdered a bunch of your friends, like as the Beast Titan and everything. He's in charge of all this shit, and he knew everything. It's like, don't tell me this was all this had to happen for your plan to work. Like you had like all these innocent people had to die so that you could do this. Like it just doesn't make sense. I hope they work it out. A lot of people hate the ending of they say that it ends terribly, and some people say it's the best ending they've ever seen. So we'll see.
Ooh, that's good. I like to hear that, to be honest.
Right,
I'd rather hear that than hear it's horrible or it's just great.
Right.
Because then I'll see what my thoughts are.
Yeah. You have any more?
My last one's definitely not as good as Aaron Yeager. We probably should end it at that one, honestly. But I'll just throw it at you. Frank Vogel for the Lakers. What do you think?
I mean, Aaron Yeager, Frank Vogel, they're like the same guy. They have the same personality, really. Frank Vogel, good vibes, and it sucks what's happening to him. That he's probably gonna be another casualty of LeBron's reign of terror.
Mm,
Him and David Blatt will go have dinner and talk shit about LeBron after the season, probably.
right.
It's like, what did you expect with this roster?
Yeah, seriously.
People
You
predicted
just
this at the start of the season too. They said he's doomed with this roster.
yeah.
Say he's gonna end up getting fired, and it's not his fault. We've seen this happen to a lot of coaches.
Too much personalities, too much egos on that team. You have to
Yeah,
feed them. And if you don't feed them, you don't get the best production. Team plays bad, and it's your fault. But really,
right.
it's fucking LeBron and Rich Paul who wanted this team.
Yeah,
We'll save that for another day, though.
right. No, yeah, we kept the Lakers talk to a minimum today.
Yeah, we'll keep it short. That was a fun good vibe, bad vibes. Oh, Aaron Yeager, man, that was
Yeah,
a
let's start.
good one, bro.
We can start throwing fictional characters in there.
It's a good idea. I like that.
I already know who you're gonna give me next week.
You probably do. I'm probably
Walt.
gonna give you like 5.
Walt.
I'm just gonna give you 5 fictional characters. No sports
You won't
athletes.
work for me now.
Oh man. Well, this was a fun show, Gabe. Any other thoughts?
This
You
is
have
really
before we
good.
close out?
Yeah. I got nothing else to say. By next time we talk, Steph Curry will be the 3-point king
Yeah.
officially. And yeah, this was a good episode. No guests this week. Probably gonna have a guest next week. We're probably gonna have another guest on the hoop chat coming up. Again, tune into the hoop chat, subscribe to it on all podcast formats. It was a great episode. Top 10 point guards of the 21st century. Some drama. Tune in. And yeah, tune into the hoop chat, tune in to past episodes of the Richi Meko Connection. Check us out on IG, check out our YouTube channel, check us out on TikTok, and we'll be working on a new Twitter in the coming week. Real quick, last night I was updating our Twitter and thought it would be funny to make like our birthday on Twitter the day our
This is funny.
podcast like debuted. So it was like May 24th, 2021. And Twitter was like, okay, so you're 6 months years old. And we're locked out of the Twitter now. So now we have to make a new Twitter. Not that Twitter was popping anyways, but we'll have a stronger social media presence from here on out. And everybody who tuned in today, thank you very much. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks.